Hi there. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How's it? Oops. Hi. Hi, Maya. Everyone tuning in. Welcome back. What's new with everyone today? How are you feeling out there after Jihoon's selfie and Hyunsuk's post? Well, if you have Twitter, I was pretty much besides myself when I was tweeting a lot last night or when Jihoon posted. I was literally like, bruh. And everyone started spamming me about the post. I was like, I know, I get it, guys. I get it. But yeah, I'm trying not to think about it, honestly. After Hyunsuk's post, though, good lord. He needs to not, because that leather jacket, chef kiss. Anyway, welcome. Did you even get to sleep? I napped. I napped. I didn't exactly sleep. But it's all good. It's okay. I took naps in between this day. Hello. Okay. So, great. Thank you, cards. So as you can see with the title of this stream today, I'm not reading a K-pop artist. I'm not reading any K-pop today, but I am reading J-pop. So this is the first time I'm doing a idol reading or a dynamic reading for J-pop artists. So yeah, it's interesting. This was booked by Anonymous, and she booked this, I think, over a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. Regardless, thank you for booking this for me. I appreciate and I am fully grateful for your interest and your trust. So thank you. It is my honor to do this reading, and I'm going to do it like any other dynamic reading I do. So yeah, thank you again. On that note, I have your questions ready. Because this is a dynamic reading, I will do my questions first, and then I'll do your questions, and then we will proceed. I do not expect a lot of people to watch this, to be honest. It'll be great if more people watch this, but if not, that's completely fine. I know a good handful of people are here to just listen and keep me company, which is also nice. So thank you for those that are here just to tune in and support this reading and support my live stream in general. So thank you. Yeah. Out there, please do sleep properly and rest too. You work too hard. I will try, Zia. I will keep that in mind. But you don't have to worry. Don't worry. I try my best to take care of myself. Don't worry, I'm not like Jihoon. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I'm going to proceed with this reading already. Going to discuss my disclaimer right now. If you guys are new here, welcome. If you guys are returning, welcome back. I am Jan. I'm a tarot reader. Been doing this for a very long time. As you can see, I will be reading these two. I apologize if I butcher their names, but their names is Koichi. Gosh, this is horrible. I'm not familiar with Japanese names. Koichi and Tsuyoshi. Okay, so I'm gonna go by that. Koichi and Tsuyoshi. So I'm gonna read those two together. They're part of a J-pop group. I will read into them. Even though this is a tarot reading, please watch this reading with a grain of salt. Nothing I say today is 100% definite, factual, or fixated. I only relay messages through the cards. Everything I say is only through the cards. I'm in no association with any of them. So yeah, please do keep that in mind. Again, it's not anything too serious. That is, I'm using tarot as a mere divine tool because the universe is always working, energy is always shifting, and people like Koichi and Tsuyoshi still have their own free will of choice to depict the future. Okay, so please do keep that in mind. All right. I keep my readings non-invasive as well. So again, please just respect this reading. It's okay. Your pronunciation is okay. Okay. Well, that is a relief. Like, I know, I can't speak Japanese. I try to, but it's kind of a shame because my roommate is Japanese American, so I would probably put her to shame right now. But I will do my very best. So correct me if I ever say anything incorrect or offensive, please. Anyway, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start with my set amount of questions first, and we'll go from there. So, as I was meditating onto them earlier, their energy is good, but we will double check on their energy. Great. Wow. Okay. Love it. It's a good start. Okay, so how is Koichi's energy right now? How is their energy? How is Koichi's energy right now? Please, thank you. Interesting. Okay. Cool. So Koichi's energy right now, as of this moment, we have the 3 of Coins upright. It's interesting because 3 of Coins is it's a pretty good card to have as an energy card. It means that he's working really hard right now, and he's also he's pretty much engaging with other people at this current time. The 3 of Coins talks about excessive hard work, actually. Normally it would be like a good sense of amount of work, but I'm getting the sense that it's a lot that he's dealing with at this time. I say this because of the 3 of Coins paired with the 9 of Wands. So he's working, or he's doing stuff, or he's dealing with stuff, but he's doing a lot more than he should be. So the 9 of Wands, as you can see with the image, Koichi's energy is a little borderline depleted, or he's just like stressed out a bit. So yeah, and then we also have the interesting. So we also have the Justice in reverse. The Justice in reverse. Justice is Libra energy, and the Justice in reverse is implying that people are being difficult to work with. So I mentioned this already. 3 of Coins says working with people. 9 of Wands says there's a lot he's doing. But then the Justice in reverse is tying it all together and saying that people are very difficult to handle right now. For those that have been following me for a while, I have mentioned that yesterday that the energy is not, it's a little chaotic because there's a lot of portals. We also have some solar flares. The moon is a super moon right now. So the energy is making everyone a little edgy, sensitive, and just chaotic. So it looks to me that Koichi's energy is slightly affected. So yeah, we'll go from there. Overall, it seems that, okay. Overall, we have the 2 of Swords in reverse. This, as even if his energy is like this, he's dealing with it. He's managing it. He's trying to ignore the negative energy. And that card is telling me that it's safe to proceed with this reading. Okay? So, hope you're following so far. Let's ask about Tsuyoshi's energy. How is Tsuyoshi's energy right now? How is Tsuyoshi's energy? Okay. Okay. Okay, so for Tsuyoshi, his Okay, his energy is like back and forth. It's kind of like both good and slightly has its flaws right now. So he's also working really hard, but much more so in terms of like planning or, you know, planning to take action. I said earlier with Koichi's energy with the 3 of Coins is that he's actually doing something. He's engaging with other people. But right now for Tsuyoshi, we have the Knight of Coins. So this is like in the works. It's in the plans. He's trying to think of his next move or think of like his to-do list per se. I did check their birthday. It says here that Tsuyoshi is an Aries sun, but he actually has a Taurus stellium. So for those that are not familiar, when I say stellium, it means that he has a lot of Taurus placements in his birth chart. So he has a Taurus Mercury, a Taurus Venus, and a Taurus Mars. And because we have the Knight of Coins, Coins is earth sign energy. Taurus is an earth sign, so this is just implying that he comes from a very grounded place. So while Koichi is dealing with a lot of work and he's doing a lot of things, Tsuyoshi is more of the kind of type to do things at a slower and steady pace. So yeah, he's also busy himself. He's also getting in touch with his creative side, though it's not like going in full circle yet. We have this with the Empress card. The Empress card is saying he's probably experiencing either some writer's block or some just creative slumps. Things are not processing as well. Things are like a little too much in the head. And then it's kind of like going back and forth from being creative or inspired versus just wanting to give up altogether. I mean, we all have our off days. We have our moments where we just don't want to deal or we just don't want to do anything, which is fine. And I say this also with the King of Wands in reverse. Wands is fire. Okay, Wands is fire. Fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Tsuyoshi is apparently an Aries sun, right? So this is implied here. But because this is a reversed card, it just says that his confidence as of now is not at its all-time best today or in this moment. But very similar to Koichi, he's trying to be very optimistic. He may be trying to take breaks here and there. He might be kind of like a goofy guy or, you know, that happy-go-lucky. Whatever the case is, he tries to be playful or he tries to find a means to be positive or look at things in a positive aspect. Why? I say this with the Sun card. So this is Leo energy. The Sun card is here to imply that even though he's a little stressed out, he's managing as well, similar to Koichi, but the Sun just says, yeah, let me just kind of take a break. Let me have fun a little bit, you know, in between. So overall, their energy is good, so we can proceed with this reading. It sounds like Koichi and Tsuyoshi already does it. Great. Okay. So on that note, let's ask, what is the initial energy when they first met? What is the initial energy when they first met? It's funny because I asked our pair if they are brothers because they have similar last names, but apparently not. So it's cool. I was just like, oh, okay, gotcha. So yeah, we're gonna ask, what was the energy when they first met? Interesting. Okay. When they first met, it was slightly awkward. Not too much, though. I think they were just more guarded than anything. When they first met, not like, okay, maybe awkward is not the right word to say or the right word to use, but when they obviously met, it was much more civil than anything. They got along pretty quickly, but I think on an emotional basis, they were definitely keeping their own type of like restrictions, or they reserved their own emotions amongst each other. But for the most part, they got along pretty well, though they have like quickly pinpointed each other's differences, but then found charm in each other's differences. So I say this, they got along pretty like fast with the Ace of Coins. Their common icebreaker when they first met was pretty much like their motives at work, or how their work ethic is. So that's pretty much their common ground. And let me double check again. Koichi's. Okay, that's makes sense. So it's cool because Koichi's Mars placement is Capricorn, whereas Tsuyoshi's is Taurus. So they both have Earth Mars placements, and Mars is the planet of their motives, how they work, their work ethic, their aggression, their their action based placement. So both of them have like earthy signs. So this essentially probably means that when they first met, the common ground that they have is about how they can work, how they can hustle, but doing it very in a stern, grounded phase. When they first met, they were still 12, 13 years old. This will be interesting knowing Tsuyoshi don't believe Koichi is a Domoto first. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so it looks to me as if with the Ace of Cups, it says that, again, it didn't take long for them to click. Like, they got along pretty well, and their common icebreaker, like I said, was through their work, or through their work ethic, or how they, maneuver themselves through work. And then representing, like I mentioned, that emotionally they were both closed off. Like, they just had their own reservations when it came to the emotional part or expressing themselves. It is expressed through the Page of Cups in reverse. Pages is about youth, and you just mentioned that they were 12 or 13 years old. So you are clarifying with the Page of Cups that they were very young. But particularly, like, on an energetic level, the Page of Cups in reverse says that the both of them were, one, emotionally closed off because maybe they were like shy or intimidated of each other emotionally. And then secondly, Page of Cups in reverse can also imply that that not only if they're intimidated, but in a matter of like not trying to step on each other's toes kind of feeling, not trying to be offensive, because they have noticed each other's, how do I say this, differences. But it looks like, during this time when they first met, they didn't know how to come across or how to express themselves, or to at least communicate. 12 to 13 years old, that's a very young age. And looking at their placements, they seem to be very timid, or very reserved. You're saying that they're both shy, so yeah, it's very interesting. I will imply the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords in reverse. Swords is air sign energy, which is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So if we're going back into astrology, Koichi has an Aquarius moon, and then Tsuyoshi has a Gemini moon. So it's interesting because, yeah, they don't have the same signs in their birth chart, but they have similar elements. They both share earthy Mars, they both share airy moons. So a lot of them, like a lot of their placements are very common. It might not be exactly the like a carbon copy of it, but again, they just have similarities to each other, which is interesting. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, on that note, with the Queen of Swords in reverse, that's in the bottom of the deck, this is also implying that their initial energy was about like boundaries. Again, it's not about like it's not saying that they hated each other. It's again just being very cautious, being very careful on how to approach each other and how to communicate with each other. Hi, Chris. So, yeah. Very interesting. Is there anything else we can know about their initial energy when they first met? Is there anything else we can know about their initial energy when they first met? Oh, interesting. Huh. Hmm. So I don't know how J-pop works, if it's very similar to K-pop. If not, it's fine, but you can correct me if I am wrong, if anyone knows. But what I am seeing is another thing about like how they first met, or the energy of it. Not only was it like, not only were they shy, but I think the circumstances of how they were formed in the group um was awkward, or was also like just uncomfortable. I think because they were just both very young. I say this with the Page of Cups again. It came back out in reverse. The Page of Cups in reverse says that on their own individual perspectives, they were trying not to get, intimidated by being it, like getting themselves into this industry. And then the circumstances, or the events that were happening around them, coming together and to form this group. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was very awkward and very uncomfortable, intimidating, a lot of fear-inducing type of energy. It's just, again, it's kind of, if I'm imagining it, if I'm tapped into their energy, I can kind of feel how intimidating it could be to be that young and going into that industry. I don't know how strict, or how, how crazy it could be for J-pop, but I'm going this by the knowledge of how K-pop works. So I say this because of the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords says that it pretty much means, ultimately, how do I say this? The Nine of Swords is like, not like fearing of what's going to happen in the future, fearing what's going to happen later on, what's kind of like what you're going to do, or maneuver yourself in the environment of this career. And then we also have the Nine of Wands upright as well. So we have two nines. Nines in numerology, especially when it comes to this industry, or how they like met in general, it means it's like a familiarity. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself yet, but when you see it, two nines in terms of like a union, when they first met, the energy means that there's a familiarity to them. I'm not going to go too far yet. I'm going to ask it maybe later, but there's potential here that they are somewhat soul connected, or they've met in a previous life. I'm not going to say they're soulmates. I'm going to say that they had a soul connection, probably. All right. Just by seeing these two nines. So, okay. Anyway, moving forward. Hi, Patricia. Did I make you mod? I don't remember if I made you mod. If I did, that's awesome. I mean, I honestly need more mods anyway. Anyway, I really don't remember making a new mod, but okay. On that note, what was Koichi's individual energy at the time? What was Koichi's individual energy at the time? Oh, interesting. And then what was TSUYOSHI's individual energy at the time? Oh, man. And then the overall energy between them. See? Literally. Okay. They're okay. Pair. I mentioned, right, that there was a potential for them to have some kind of soul connection. So I'm seeing I have a card here that is amplifying that indication. I have here the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a card about soul connections. Six of Cups can mean a few things when it comes to soul connections. It could be that you had a tie, you met this person in a previous life, or you had like a relationship in the previous life. You could be soulmates, you could be twin flames, but what I'm specifically seeing is it's not that far, but they did meet in a previous life. So I say that with the Six of Cups. Okay. And then let's talk about the individual energy. So Koichi's energy We have the Nine of Swords again. So he was probably the one that was most intimidated by the, you know, the circumstances of being in this industry, especially being young at that age. Nine of Swords says there's a lot of fear, anxiety, just overall being cautious and afraid of what's to come and what he's about to get himself into. And then, excuse me, Tsuyoshi's energy. 10 of coins in reverse. 10 of coins in reverse is like desperate energy. I don't know. Again, this is a very non-biased reading. I have no idea like about anything because I'm not a stan or anything. But for Tsuyoshi's energy with the 10 of coins in reverse, it's a feeling of desperation. It's like he wanted to be in this industry. Like this is part of his dream. He had like a fair idea of what's to come or what he's getting himself into diving into the industry. And the 10 of coins says there's probably like financial gauges and financial motivations that's keeping him to push forward for this dream or this, you know, connection or whatever. So two different energies, similar motives, different approaches into, you know, the union and to forming the group. So, but overall, there was a familiarity between the two of them. Okay. On that note, in this current moment, going from the beginning and until now, what is Koichi's contribution to this dynamic? Oh, okay. Nice. And then what is Tsuyoshi's contribution to this dynamic? Nice. I love this. Holy crap. I love this. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let's see. Interesting. So contribution, overall energy. This is crazy. 1 second. This is a mess. You go here because you make sense there. All right. Contribution to this dynamic within each other. So, all right, we'll talk about this in a bit, but let's talk about Koichi's energy. So Koichi's contribution to this dynamic from the beginning and even until now, his contribution towards Tsuyoshi is the Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords is interesting because overall, it's as if again, correct me if I'm wrong, I have no idea how they're like, but by the Queen of Swords, his contribution is to be kind of like the speaker of all things. He's the much more vocal one. Apparently, he's the one that puts boundaries. If things need to be addressed, you can rely on Koichi to be, you know, to say things. And maybe, just maybe, depending on the situation or depending on like what's going on, it looks to me that he's the one that will say something right away. He doesn't like things steeping. He doesn't like to wait around and go around like, you know, beat around the bush. So with the Queen of Swords, he's much more the logic, the intellect. The Queen of Swords says how this is a contribution to Tsuyoshi is that maybe, just maybe, he has his way of breaking Tsuyoshi's stubbornness. I mentioned that he has a Taurus stellium, so there might be some like kind of like instances where he just doesn't want to budge energetically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. He pretty stays grounded, like a little too much. And for for Koichi, his contribution is to help him lighten up, to let loose more, to kind of also give him perspective as well, because a lot of the times when you have a Taurus stellium, there's very distinct, narrow focused perspectives or mindsets. So yes, you're right, Koichi's the front one. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, anyway, on that note, it's really interesting because, like I said, I think I think Koichi's the much more free-spirited one, but even if he's like the free-spirited one, you can't kind of like argue with him. He will pretty much say what he needs to say or what he believes that needs to be said. Now it's interesting, right? Because I said Queen of Swords for Koichi. For Tsuyoshi, right? Queen of Swords for Koichi. Tsuyoshi is the Queen of Wands. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Insane, right? Two queens. There's a lot of synchronicity between these two. So this is really indicating that they have some kind of familiarity with each other, soul connection vibe. The Queen of Wands. So we'll talk about Tsuyoshi now. Wands, again, is fire energy. He is an Aries. Aries is a fire sign. So with the Queen of Wands, his contribution, there's a lot of edginess now that I see on Tsuyoshi, because he has a mix of that Taurus stellium. That Taurus stellium is indicating not only is he stubborn, but he's also very passionate. And it's much more amplified with his Gemini moon, and of course this Queen of Wands, which is representing his Aries sun. This says he can be a little reckless at times. He can be a little, over the top sometimes. It just all depends on what's going on or what's about to happen. The Queen of Wands says he's just very eager, and the thing I see between these two is, yes, Koichi could be the intellectual one or the analytical one, but sometimes he may have his moments where he's too much of like the overanalyzations, and whereas with Tsuyoshi, he has his motives like, don't think, just do, if that makes any sense. So if, for like example, Koichi catches himself a little in his like own never-ending loop of thoughts and over analyzations and just endless thinking, you have here Tsuyoshi coming in and be like, can you stop thinking too much? Just forget it. Let's just deal with it as it comes, kind of thing. So there's that contribution here. It's pretty balanced in my humble opinion, in a way, but what's interesting is there's a balance, but yet fire and air can also make each other chaotic. Again, I have no clue how they're like. I have no clue how they're like, but by these cards, they're both different, but both very similar, yet they both balance each other. But again, in another perspective, they're both very chaotic. They're just all over the place sometimes. It's a really interesting dynamic, and I'm going to make this assumption is this is probably why they last really long, or this is why their friendship works or their brotherhood works, because when you put fire and air together, right? Fire and air together elevates. It makes each other stronger. So yeah. It's interesting. I really like this a lot, to be honest. It's cool. I like seeing fire signs and air signs together. It's always fun. So, yeah, on that note, going into more detail, their contribution amongst each other, we have them, because I mentioned, right, one way they balance each other out. Another way, they're very chaotic in a positive way. But for the most part, when like the contribution is to keep each other in check, maybe one person, whether it's Tsuyoshi or Koichi, one person could be, a little misguided, or he's doing too much or whatever. They just kind of reel each other back in. Why? Because of the Emperor. Emperor is Aries, and the Aries card here is saying that regardless of how their energy is like, at the end of the day, they keep each other in check. They help manage each other. They're pretty much each other's avant-garde. They pretty much support each other in all aspects. We have the Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins talks about progress. So not only do they balance each other out or manage each other, the Seven of Coins says they also motivate, they push, they support. Also to imply We have the Empress. The Empress says they take good care of each other, like in general, like, you know, either physically, mentally, emotionally. The Empress is a loving energy, so they both have a lot of respect and care. So I can tell that they're very close to each other. They're super close. Even when they have like fallouts, they're really good about, you know, fixing things. They both don't like conflict, is what I'm seeing. It makes sense. They both have airy moons. Airy moons does not like conflict. They don't like confrontation either. If things are stirring up, they both have, I can assume they both go about it with the silent treatment. So this is implied here with the Five of Coins upright, and then the 5, again, another synchronicity, 2 5s, 5 of 5 of coins upright, and the 5 of cups reverse. So sometimes they'll have their misunderstandings. Sometimes what, you know, their energies will not synchronize well, but they make it a mission. Like their brotherhood has kind of grown gradually to a point that if things don't align, they make it a point and they discuss it like decent adults and make sure they don't let anger be the last thing they feel towards each other. So I could see that they have their own maturity when it comes to this brotherhood. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. Overall, we're going to ask now. What is the advice? What is the overall advice for them at this moment? What is the overall advice? Sorry, that was like a motorcycle that just zoomed out. Okay. Anyway, what is the overall advice for them to be closer than they are already? Okay. Right now, overall advice is implied by the 6 of Swords. So the 6 of Swords says there's nothing that they need to like address or fix right now. In fact, what I'm seeing actually, something is telling me here that both of them are dealing with similar issues, not with amongst each other, but like they're both put in a spot that's difficult to deal with. I'm gonna assume it's work. I'll pull a card right now to confirm. Yeah, it's with work. All right, so it looks like 6 of Swords upright with the 8 of Coins in reverse. So again, both of them are dealing with something with work or whatever they're trying to create, and it's been stressful these days. So this is slightly causing a divide between the two. I told you that they don't like conflict, or they don't like direct confrontation unless needed to. So right now, the advice for them to get closer is to be more in the present moment. I think they're too caught up in their own worlds, you know, dealing with this same stress. But the universe wants to say if they need to fix anything or if they need to try to get closer again, is that the 6 of Swords says just keep moving forward together. Don't handle your stresses alone. So it looks like either Koichi's like, okay, I'm going to deal with this. And then Tsuyoshi's like, well, I got to deal with this. And they're handling it separately, even though the problem is shared. You know, like what's the point of handling it by yourself if you can work on this, you know, issue together? So 6 of Swords says move forward, but move forward together. All right. Okay, so that is done. My questions are done. I am now going to answer the questions from our pair. Why are you crying, Maya? What's wrong? It's so them. Oh, that I'm relieved that the cards are resonating. I don't know anything about them. I'm literally just relaying the message from the cards. So that's a relief for me. I'm sorry you're crying though. I'm sorry you're crying, but I'm again glad it's resonating, that I'm on point. yeah, we're going to go now to the questions. So, first question from Pear. How do they both feel about being the oldest one in their agency? Agency, excuse me. Agency. Okay. How do they both feel about being the eldest one in the agency? Let's ask. How do they both feel being the eldest one in their agency? Okay. Knight of Cups in reverse. Overall, they don't pay attention to the age thing. But if we're looking at it internally, like they kind of do internalize feeling a little left out, or in fact maybe feeling intimidated by the fact that they're older. And that comes with anyone that is going through the aging process. But in this industry, or at least in the agency that they're in, they don't really, they try not to care about it, but sometimes it kind of comes up where they have pitched something in, like an idea or a creation, or maybe some kind of production idea, but sometimes it just is not taken seriously. And that's very unfortunate, because a lot of the times when you think about the entertainment industry, there's always that fear for idols in general when you're too old for what's trendy right now. So I can imagine that the both of them have this similar struggle or this intimidation. They're like, oh, we have this, but sometimes I don't think we're taken seriously enough because we're older now, kind of thing. But again, they try not to pay attention to it. But there is, especially recently, I could see, I have here the star in reverse. There is like questionable debates in their minds or in their heart spaces, thinking if they should eventually just give up or quit. But they're not forcing themselves to quit. They're not like looking for more reason to quit. It's just their own like internal insecurity coming in as it comes in with age. I'm like, for me, I feel it. I'm not even that old, but I have that. Like, I totally relate. Sometimes I feel like I'm just, like, for example, I'm a K-pop stan, but then I have my moments where I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I should be into K-pop right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same feeling for these two. It's like, should we still even be here? Should we still even be doing this kind of job? Or should we like move on, retire, or whatever? They're kind of like losing that motivation or that inspiration to continue. But in a forceful way, they're trying to convince themselves not to think that way. So yeah. Okay. Let me see. How else are they feeling? Interesting. So, this agency. Interesting. I'm going to like make this assumption here with the cards that I have in front of me. Did they somehow, were they the foundation of this company? Like, out of all the artists, sorry, I think the music got loud. Anyway, out of all of the artists that are underneath this agency, it looks to me as if like they're the ones who kind of created the base, and like they're the foundation of this company. And so while yes, they are proud of the accomplishments that they have, and that they feel proud that they built this company as big as it is already, like as it is now, there are kind of like their own bitterness a bit. It doesn't show too much, but they have their own slight bitterness about how they're treated, even if they're the ones who kind of paved the way in this company. I see the King of Coins. The King of Coins says they're trying their hardest to be like the bigger person or being the bigger people, but they look at like everyone else, and it seems to them that these other artists are getting much more better, treatment, or they're taken a lot more seriously, or they give them more of their undivided attention. Whereas these days, as the King of Coins, it says they did everything for themselves, and yet to this day it seems as if they're still doing a lot like on their own. Like they're not getting enough support from this company is what I'm seeing. Why? I see this with the Five of Swords in reverse. Five of Swords in reverse says that, yeah, sometimes they get the help, they get the support from this company, but there could be other things that they could do for them or help them out. There's like something that's lacking here. There's these little voids in between this relationship between them and the agency. I say this also with the Three of Wands. So whatever they try to do, whatever they try to plan out, sometimes it's not coming in full circle. Sometimes most times I'm seeing it's disapproved from the company or whatever. So yeah, fortunately. So it's interesting. Like I said, they try their hardest to be like the bigger person or whatnot, but there are their own reservations about how they feel towards the agency. And it's like, what the heck? Yeah, we're older, but we kind of started this madness kind of thing, and the least that we could, like, the least we deserve is pretty much the support, So, yeah, there is that. Kind of sounds familiar. It gives me similar vibes to a certain K-pop group that I personally stand, so. But I'm not going to touch base on that. Anyway, moving on to the next question. What other qualities do they appreciate of each other in work? All right. It's sad because they're working so hard. I imagine that. I could see that. Yeah, with those cards earlier, I could see that they both work really hard. So the next question is, what other qualities do they appreciate of each other in work and out of work? Okay. So, in work and out of work. So let's start with Koichi again. What does Koichi appreciate of Tsuyoshi in work and out of work? So in work, what does... So let's see. What? Okay. Okay. So Koichi appreciates this of Tsuyoshi in work, and then out of work, outside of work. Outside of work. It's a lot of cards. I only need one card here. Outside of work, please. Oof. Calm down. Okay. Outside of... Okay, nice. Okay, so starting with Koichi towards Tsuyoshi. So in work, Koichi appreciates Yoshi as someone that, regardless of him, being in a very stressful situation, there's a lot of reasons to be afraid, or there's a lot of reasons to, think of the worst case scenario. But Koichi appreciates Tsuyoshi being a lot more optimistic than he is. In fact, he kind of knows how to ground himself really well. Again, I'm not surprised he has that Taurus stellium, as I mentioned, but that's pretty much what Koichi appreciates or admires about Tsuyoshi, is that even in a chaotic industry or being in a, hectic environment in terms of their career, in terms of work, there is a lot of instances where Tsuyoshi's like, screw it, I don't want to stress out. I just got to take it as it is. I have to play with the cards I am dealt with. And he stays in the present moment. He does not allow himself, he forcefully makes himself, stay the present moment, not think of the future, not think of the past, just being in that now and dealing it as it comes by. Whereas with Koichi, he has his habits of overthinking or freaking out a little bit. Even if it's quiet to himself, he does, take himself further away in his thoughts. So 8 of Swords in reverse is saying that fear, in a way, for Tsuyoshi, it's not allowed to control his life. It's not allowed to take over and depict what is meant to happen. So yeah, he kind of has a lot more courage when it comes to anything that's fear-based versus, Koichi. So Koichi appreciates that about Tsuyoshi in work. Outside of work is cool because of the moon and the Hanging Man. Okay, the moon and the Hanging Man says that Koichi appreciates Tsuyoshi's, I guess, natural habit of separating himself away from work versus not work. He knows how to remove himself from professionalism versus personal things. If it's his alone time, then it's his alone time. If it's his time to be with family, it's his time to be with family. You know what I mean? So I think this is just how grounded he is. He has, again, all those Taurus placements, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, but the earthly side of Venus is the part where you take care of yourself. It's about self-love. It's about nurturing yourself. It's about, treating yourself well and pampering. So in that respect, when it comes to being outside of work, Tsuyoshi's really good at removing himself from the hectic life. He's like, do not disturb. I am here at my own peace. Leave me the hell alone. And Koichi appreciates that, apparently. The moon card also says that Tsuyoshi's someone that's very secretive. Okay, Tsuyoshi is maybe not secretive, but he has, again, his own world or his own reservations about who he is or about how he acts outside of the camera. The moon says that, again, he just knows how to separate himself and he lives freely, like how he wants it to be, but he doesn't do that too recklessly, or he tries not to. This is said by the Hanging Man. It's interesting because it also shares that he's very independent in general. It says if he's dealing with like some kind of issue, he does not become someone that pours out his problems to anyone. He's the type of person who will take it on his own. He will try his best first before he has this motive or urgency to reach out for help. So again, this is what Koichi appreciates about Tsuyoshi. Again, he's just very independent that way and self-reliant. Sometimes what I feel lacking in Johnny's is they're too fast in making a new group. I see. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. That is what I'm seeing there. Now let's go to what Tsuyoshi appreciates in Koichi. What does, actually I put the cards back. Okay, let's do that again. So in Tsuyoshi's perception or perspective, what does he appreciate about Koichi in work, when it comes to work? Interesting. So 9 of Wands upright and 7 of Wands reversed. These two cards, it's interesting because On the same note, as I said, that Tsuyoshi is very, very guarded, and he likes, like, he's self-reliant and he's independent. Not to say that Koichi isn't, he is as well, but he's very, like, maybe a little too generous. He's the one that says, like, again, if he cares about other people, or if he cares about, like, fellow workers or staff or fellow artists, he's kind of too quick to say yes, or he's kind of quick to be very giving. So here's the thing. With the Nine of Wands, it says he works really hard. But then with the Seven of Wands in reverse, it also says that he gives a lot, or he's generous, or he's sharing too much as well. I'm hearing implications that if, say, someone comes up to Koichi, he's like, "Hey, what are you up to? Oh, hey, what are you working on? Oh, what kind of idea are you, project or whatever you're thinking about?" He kind of forgets to filter himself a little bit. He forgets to not reserve himself, like, in the initial moment. So it, in a way, for Tsuyoshi's perception of this, it's like, I appreciate how hardworking he is, but then there's also these frustrating moments where he just says too much, or he does too much, and gives too much as well. So it's both something that he appreciates and not appreciates. Yeah, let me see something else here. What else does Tsuyoshi appreciate in Koichi? Interesting. Okay, so another thing I want to address is that Tsuyoshi appreciates Koichi being someone that does not like things unfinished. Basically, to him, once you start it, you have to finish. It has to be completed. He can't let things go. He can't let things slide. Yeah, he can't let things slide. He just says, if we already got this far, we have to continue. We have to keep going. We have to finish. Well, on that also kind of similar bound here, Tsuyoshi also appreciates how forgiving he could be. I'm curious. Let me look at his birth chart again. Why would he be that forgiving? That makes sense. Sagittarius, Mercury, Aquarius, Moon. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, well, yeah. Let's see. So that Aquarius Moon, though the Aquarius Moon can make Koichi very aloof, there is, like, this simplicity of, like, acting like he's naive. So here's the thing. With Tsuyoshi, he looks at Koichi as someone that likes to play dumb. He knows that Koichi's very smart, but it's funny because in work he likes to play dumb. But again, on an emotional aspect, he does become very forgiving pretty quickly. But sometimes what he fails to understand why Koichi does that is to kind of, like, draw them in, or to either make them, like, either feel obligated to help them or to feel bad. There's, like, sneaky motives under Koichi's sleeve. And so this is pretty much why Tsuyoshi appreciates or admires him in this sense when it comes to work, because you look at him and he's doing one thing, but you look at him again, he has, like, deeper motives for these certain things. So yeah. Okay. Outside of work, though. Outside of work. Outside of work. Outside of work, what does he appreciate? Okay. So correct me if I am wrong. Is Koichi someone with, how do I word this properly? Yeah, okay. So, Koichi. Okay. Okay. All right. Outside of work, it says here that Tsuyoshi appreciates Koichi for being a person that knows how to have fun, who's really, I mean, I already said this, but he's like a free spirit, most especially outside of work. He has like this purity to himself, like there's this innocence to him. He finds a lot of things fascinating, he finds a lot of things intriguing or interesting, or if not, he goes out of his way to do something exciting. He doesn't like things repetitive, so especially when he's not at work can be too repetitive, or work could be very, strict and like a struggle to go through a lenient way. There's like a need for liberation when it comes to work, but when he's out of work, he knows how to play. You know what I mean? It's like he knows how to work hard, but he knows how to play hard too. So the Queen of Cups says a lot of like the emotional fulfillment. He works his way to enjoy things out of life. He's pretty much that you only live once kind of spirit. The King of Wands says, look, for the most part, I'm trying to handle my life. I'm trying to just live my life in the moment if I can. Though I get, a little intimidated sometimes, I try to just, like separate myself. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the Wheel of Fortune says that he has his own habits that outside of work, he kind of loses his own concept of time. The Wheel of Fortune says that he can get a little too immersed in things. He could do one thing exciting for a very long time and he'll forget that he's even doing it just because he's enjoying it a lot or he's doing too much of it. The Wheel of Fortune says a lot of this free-spirited, stuff can kind of pull him away from the responsibilities or through the tasks. But again, this is why I said that they balance each other out, because Tsuyoshi is not like that. Tsuyoshi is like the opposite of that. So this is kind of like, in a sense, Tsuyoshi admires that Koichi can enjoy for as much as he can. So yes, you're right. Koichi is like a pure child. That's cute. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Let's go on to the next question. Okay. What do they feel when they're working together, and do they prefer to do projects individually or separately? What do they generally feel when they're working together? Okay, so what do they feel when they're working together, and do they prefer to do projects individually? All right, what do they feel when they're working together? Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Why is that? Why is this card here? Why is this card here for the both of them? Oops. All right. Excuse me. Is this okay? That makes sense. So, okay. What do they feel when they're generally working together? So I have the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Swords. So this is like this is the third time I got the Queen of Swords. So Eight of Cups and the Queen of Swords says when they work together, in general, they already have set each other, or like they mentally have to prepare themselves before actually like planning to work with each other. Why? Because they know each other well enough that they will have their own differences. I don't know how many times I've already said this, but they have so many similarities, but yet so many differences that there is a lot of chances for them to clash when they work, but they already know each other well enough that they mentally prepare themselves before diving in. So the Eight of Cups says that their energy when they work can cause, sometimes it could work well, sometimes it cannot. Eight of Cups says the both of them have their internal thoughts where they either try to take control of the situation or try to take control of like the project or whatever they're doing. But then they also have like half of them thinking about, oh, should I just let him handle it? It's just kind of giving way towards each other. And this is also implied by the Queen of Swords, because I mentioned already, the Queen of Swords is a being or a person that prioritizes respect, it prioritizes boundaries, it prioritizes a lot of intellect and consideration as well. The Queen of Swords says, I have to think not only for myself, but I also have to think about the circumstances or the other energies around me. So this is why the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Swords are here. The two of them have a lot of experience, working together, to the point that they know how they're going to think, like how each other is going to think about a certain task, a responsibility, a flaw, or anything. So what they feel, it's really all respect. It's professional. It's decent. But again, when they have their moments, when they do clash with ideas or motives, don't worry, because in the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is a very beautiful card to have. You can see it here in the image. It shows it itself that they are, overall, they're still like in good energy. They both have happy vibes. Like they do like working with each other. They just know each other well enough that they could bump heads sometimes. But overall is that they work well together. And at the end of the day, when they do work on something, it always comes out worth it, or it comes out into top quality. So yeah, pretty much they're like decent adults. You know what I mean? They're just like mature about it, which is good because it's hard sometimes to work, with someone else, especially in this type of industry, especially in the entertainment industry. I work in the entertainment industry, and a lot of people want to feel like their idea is better or their motives is correct, but that doesn't really happen too much with them. If they experience it, they give way towards each other. All right. Now, the latter part of this question is, do they prefer to do projects individually or separately? So for Koichi, individually or separately. And then for Tsuyoshi, I love it. Okay, so in general, okay, that's so funny. So for Koichi, we have the Justice card. It says he likes doing projects together, he likes doing projects together for the most part. And then for Tsuyoshi, we have the Ace of Coins, which means he likes doing things alone. Like if he could choose, he prefers doing things separately. But regardless of that, regardless of them being able to choose, they don't mind whatever happens. Pretty much it's like if you give them a project, if you give them an opportunity, the Wheel of Fortune says they take anything that comes. They take any door that opens for them. So they're humbled by that. So regardless of working together or doing things individually or separately, it doesn't matter. They know how to take things as it comes. So how funny. How funny. All right, next question. Payer is asking, Pear is asking, okay. Pear is asking, how possessive of each other are they? I'm not asking in a romantic way. It's just that they really are close to each other. I just want to know, is one of them feeling possessive when their partner works with other people? Cute. Okay, let's ask. Okay. Tsuyoshi has more solo work. True. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so how possessive of each other are they? How possessive of each other are they? I'm not asking in a romantic way. It's just they're really, yeah, okay. So on Koichi's end, is Koichi possessive over? No. No, not at all. So for Koichi, there's no like possessive energy on him. In fact, this is interesting because the devil in reverse. If this was upright, if the devil was upright, I would have said yes. I would have said yes, he has possessive energy, but he does not. The devil card in reverse, I think it's because he's very free-spirited. Koichi has, I mentioned already, he has an Aquarius Moon and Sagittarius Mercury. That is a lot of free-spirited energy for one person already. So he does not have possessive energy. He just kind of likes to do his own thing. He goes with the flow. So the devil in reverse says no. No. And it's interesting because the devil in tarot is represented by Capricorn. And it says here on his birthday that Koichi is a Capricorn. He is a Capricorn sun, and he also has a Capricorn Mars. The devil in reverse. Capricorns really don't care for too much about, being possessive in relationships, or in connections or whatever. It doesn't matter. To them, it's like, hey, if I got things to do, you know what I mean? They don't have time to feel possessive or feel jealous if other people are working with other people, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a no. That is a no. Let's see with Tsuyoshi though. Tsuyoshi, is he possessive over Koichi when it comes to, let's see how, ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, Queen of Swords, again, what is the fifth time? Queen of Swords says no. Again, this is a card of respect. This is an energy of respect. This says no, he's not, possessive or anything. In fact, it's like if he catches Koichi, like he has to do something with other people, that's completely fine because he also keeps himself pretty productive. I'm not surprised. All that earth energy that they have, again, Capricorn in Koichi's chart, Taurus in Tsuyoshi's chart, those earth energy makes them very prone to just dealing with their own lives. Like they're very independent. They're grounded in their own stance. So the Queen of Swords says, no, like I don't have that, like, and queen in the hierarchy, queens are very mature about that. Possessiveness is not mature energy, but you literally have the Queen of Swords in Tsuyoshi's case here, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. It's no big deal to me. It's no big deal to me. Let's see. We also have the three. See, we have the Three of Coins. The Three of Coins reversed again. This says that for Tsuyoshi, he knows not to get hung up over anything. Like he knows that people have to work with other people. It's all business. It's all professional. So there's nothing to be all stressed out about it. So it's good. These two are very mature actually for the based off of my observations. But let me actually calculate real quick. I'm going to calculate real quick their soul ages just to see why that is. So January 1st. All right, let me see. January 1st, right? 19. Oh, interesting. Well, I guess that makes sense. So Koichi's actually, I say he's mature, like he has his mature tendencies, but he's actually very young. His soul age is 1. His soul age is 1. Okay. And then for Tsuyoshi. For Tsuyoshi, his birthday is April 10, 1970. Hold on. Oh, okay. Makes sense. So Koichi is 1. His soul age is 1, or he's on his first life, whereas Tsuyoshi is on his 4th. Okay, 1 and 4. So Tsuyoshi's a lot more grounded, a lot more quote unquote mature than Koichi, which makes sense. I did already kind of say that Koichi can kind of get carried away with his thoughts and stuff, but Tsuyoshi kind of reels him back in and grounds him, type of deal. So yeah, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Now, moving on to the next question. Are they surrounded by the good people that want the best for them? Okay. Are they both surrounded by good people that want ultimately the best for them? Okay. In general, interesting. Okay, but then, let me see individually real quick. Is Koichi surrounded by good people? How about Tsuyoshi? Interesting. Okay. Let's talk about Koichi. Koichi, he has the Hermit card. Okay, he has the Hermit card in reverse. All right. Hermit card in reverse. The question is he surrounded by good people that want ultimately the best for them or for him in this context? This is generally a yes, but in Koichi's perspective, the way he sees it, he's not realizing he is surrounded by good people. The Hermit says it's kind of like failure to realize, or to like failure to see things from a bigger angle, because the Hermit in reverse says there's much more needed introspection on his own end. When we're talking about if he has good people around him, there is, but he's not seeing it. In fact, it might be like this kind of energy where he's taking people for granted in a sense. The Hermit says that for him, it's like, yes, he sees people that he works with or he associates himself with, whether it's at work, whether it's family, whether it's friends. He does, have gratitude for their presence, but there's still kind of like a disconnect between him and people in general. I'm going to assume that this is just him with that Aquarius moon. It's because Aquarius is a fixed sign. So there is like its own stubbornness to it, and Aquarius is still air. When you have an airy moon, they kind of have their own distinct beliefs when it comes to connections. It takes a lot for someone with an air moon to be ultimately vulnerable or to be ultimately enlightened about how genuine a connection could be. So when it's implied here with the Hermit in reverse, again, he is surrounded by good people, but he somehow does not believe that yet. He does not believe that everyone is like genuine or sincere. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. For Tsuyoshi though, Tsuyoshi before, kind of like he was very similar to Koichi. where he did not believe that he is surrounded by good people, but he's kind of getting over that hump. We have this implied with the Death card upright. The Death card is Scorpio energy. It means that old beliefs or outdated beliefs are, dying, hence the word death. And he used to believe that he did not have good people around them. I say that because of the Nine of Wands. Okay? The Nine of Wands says that maybe he did it, like, for a while he's always thought that it's just him. But with the Death card, added into the mix, this just says he no longer feels that way. He feels as if, like, yeah, no, I think I've taken people for granted. There are good people that have their best interest in me, that genuinely care and support me. So yeah, he's in a good state when it comes to that. Koichi needs more convincing. Tsuyoshi, we're good. Koichi, he needs more convincing. In general, for the both of them, they are surrounded by good people. We have the 10 of Coins. 10 of Coins is a really good card to have when it comes to abundance, comes to blessings. When we're talking about people, it's good because you have supportive people. We have the 6 of Swords also. 6 of Swords says they are surrounded by people that are helping them move forward, that help them progress in life or in their career. We also have the 2 of Wands. So ultimately, yes, they do. But I'm not going to lie. Even though they are surrounded by good people, there are still those bad apples as well. The 2 of Wands says either or. Okay. It's just all about perception, and their perception is not the all-time, it's like the all-time struggle sometimes for Koichi. All right. Moving forward. We're almost done here, actually. How do they deal? Okay, this next question is, how do they deal with fighting? How do they deal when they fight? Okay. I'm going to ask if that is okay to ask. Let me just ask this real quick myself. How do they deal when they fight? Because that could be an invasive question. I don't want to. Let me see if it's okay to ask. Oh, okay. Then it is okay to ask. All right. So in general, if they ever fight or if they argue, it takes a while. They don't fight a lot, though, is what I'm saying. They don't fight a lot, but when it happens, I kind of already vaguely mentioned this, actually. Like, if a conflict happens, because both of them don't like confrontation, so it takes a while for things to get addressed or to get fixed, because both of them have airy moons. So a lot of the times when something wrong happens or something misaligns between the two of them, the 10 of Swords in reverse says they need to separate. They need to process first before they fix things out. And so that's essentially what happens in the beginning. If there is conflict, they have to cool off. They have to separate, keep the two away from each other before, but after that, once they process, they have the decency to come back together and address what happened. It's 2 of Swords. So like I said, 10 of Swords in reverse says we need to separate. Let's cool off. Let's process first. Then 2 of Swords says let's come back together and discuss what's wrong. And then we have the 5 of Coins in reverse. So I mentioned this already earlier. The 5 of Coins says that they don't let things steep too long. They try not to, at least. They don't leave a situation unresolved. Make sense? Okay. Oops. All right. Is there any jealousy between them? Next question. Is there any jealousy between them? Let me see if I can ask that. Is there any jealousy between them? Oh, okay. Let's see. Is there any jealousy between them? No, not at all. The 9 of Swords in reverse? Nope. Nine of Swords says they have their own insecurities, yes, on a personal level, but they are both secure enough to not be envious of each other. Why? Three of Cups. This is an amazing card to have when it talks about jealousy or envy. Three of Cups says they appreciate each other and respect each other so much more that any kind of distinct envy or jealousy becomes more of just something funny. You know what I mean? If they get envious of each other, it's so lighthearted. They're just, like even for me, like I could get jealous of my best friend, but I mean that in a positive way. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm so jealous that my friend is much more talented or something like that. You know what I mean? They say that in a lighthearted way. They mean that in a positive motive. It's nothing too malicious or negative. So yeah, it's like they have their own personal insecurities, but they don't let that control how they look at each other. It's all good-hearted, light-hearted energy between them two. Okay. Next. What do they need to be? Wait, what? Okay. So for the both of them, what do they need to be more conscious of or careful of to keep themselves healthy and safe? So let's separate that to, okay, so let's go back to Koichi. What does he currently need to be more conscious of or careful of to make sure that he is maintaining his health and is safe? What does he need to maintain, or what does he need to be cautious of in terms of his health and safety? Koichi. Okay. Koichi just works too hard, doesn't he? So, what I am seeing is probably these days he's been having, again, I don't know that personally, but the cards are at least telling me that Koichi has been having a hard time sleeping these days. There's also it's like insomnia, restlessness as well. I say this with the Ace of Swords, but I think it's because he's just overworking himself. The Ten of Wands, you can literally see it in the image. The Ten of Wands is about overworking himself. So there's a lot of stress levels, and he doesn't have a really good form of release of stress. He doesn't have like the best outlet or the best coping mechanisms. So everything that he stresses on, he keeps it a lot to himself. So this is kind of forming some stress, like his body is reacting to the stress, hence he's having a hard time sleeping. Maybe he's having, again, anxieties, restlessness, maybe headaches as well. I don't see anything too drastic though, which is good. Though King of Coins in reverse, so this is also probably saying he needs to have a better diet as well. So yeah, overall, I don't see anything too terrible, but he needs to be careful with, how he's working, if he's not sleeping enough, if he's not taking enough breaks, if he's eating healthy or not, like just pretty minor things, but very essential things. These are the issues with our body. It's like when you accumulate bad habits over time, it could be very bad for us in long term. So if he could, he should kind of rearrange his lifestyle. So yeah. Okay. On that note, let's look at Tsuyoshi. What does he need to be more conscious of or careful of to keep himself healthy and safe? Interesting. I don't know I don't know anything about them. I always have to say that disclaimer, but it looks to me that Tsuyoshi has had either a sickness before. I don't know what it is. I can't imply what kind of sickness it was. but I'm seeing that he's experienced some kind of sickness or an injury, some kind of ailment before. He's a lot better now, but he needs to like maintain his healthy habits that he's adapted to. It looks like he kind of falls in between, you know, being healthy, not being healthy, and sometimes this ailment comes back and forth in his body, so he needs to be careful of that. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that was a public thing, if anyone knew about that, but I definitely see something that from before he was experiencing some kind of sickness. Yeah, some kind of sickness. Whatever that was, he needs to take it more seriously. Again, he did for a while, but he kind of fell out of that healthier habit of, you know, maintenance. Other than that, nothing that he needs to be careful of, except I'm seeing that there's some. Sorry, let me clarify. Why is this card here? Okay, he needs to be careful of. That's very specific. I don't know if he drives. I'm gonna assume they both drive there, but if he drives, have a sudden hearing loss. I see, like complete hearing loss, or is it partial? Sudden hearing loss. Is that completely or okay, it's his right ear. Okay. All right. Well, if the cards are implying that, I see. Well, I don't know exactly or precisely what the cards are saying, but whatever the case is, he just needs to be more, he needs to take everything else seriously, because it looks to me that he's kind of like settled in a way. It's like, whatever, like it is what it is, which I can understand. But yeah, he just needs to take it more seriously. Another thing I do want to mention though, I don't know why in particular, but he just needs to be careful when it comes to driving. Interesting. I don't know if he drives or if he has his own driver. But be careful of cars somehow. Be careful of cars. Other than that, I don't see anything else to worry about. Yeah. Koichi drives. Okay. Well, regardless, if Tsuyoshi does not drive, he just in general needs to be careful about being in a car with someone. Maybe he's not. Maybe whoever whoever driver he has or whatever is not like the best. You should be careful. Just be careful. Yeah, it's the same card. Yep. Okay. So on that note, we're gonna move forward from this question. Next is okay. This next question is more of a prediction question. I'll skip this one and then do this one first. So, how do they feel? How do they feel about being shipped romantically by their fans? Interesting. How do they both feel about being shipped romantically by their fans? All right. How do they feel about being shipped romantically by their fans? Let's check on Koichi. Oh, interesting. That's funny. Okay. Koichi's feelings about being shipped romantically with Tsuyoshi, it's funny because it's like either or. It's like he finds it funny, but then other times he's like, okay, they're taking it too far, kind of deal. It's fun when it's fun. It's not fun when it's too much. You know what I mean? I could like there has to be a sense of respect when you do that, like when you're shipping them. Like if you like them, you know, if you like seeing them together, that's fine. But if you are pushing it like in a romantic sense, like it can be funny sometimes, and he'll kind of like go along with it for the most part. I say go along with it because of the Wheel of Fortune, but on a personal note, it's not all fun. You know what I mean? We have the Emperor in reverse. The Emperor in reverse talks about disapproval. We have the Four of Wands in reverse also. So like I said, at times it could be funny, it could be fun, but when it's pushing it way too much, there's a lot of discomfort. There is discomfort here, disapproval. Yeah, so it'd be like that. It'd be like that. With Tsuyoshi, how does he feel about being shipped romantically with Koichi? Yeah, they both do not like it. I mean, Tsuyoshi hates it more. I'm gonna make that comparison. Tsuyoshi hates it more than Koichi does. I say this with the the 5 of Wands upright, fire energy. He is an Aries. Don't forget he's an Aries. Aries is very aggressive. So when it comes to this topic, the 5 of Wands is literally the card of arguments, or it's about fighting. So it's like he could feel a little like internal rage within himself whenever he sees it. He tries not to let that show, but the 5 of Wands, if we're being serious, 5 of Wands says he does not like it. We also say this with the Page of Swords in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse says he thinks that it's very immature. Again, I'm not saying this is all true, but I'm only talking through the cards, okay? I'm not trying to speak for both Koichi or Tsuyoshi, but through the cards. So Tsuyoshi says that's some immature stuff that you're doing, saying. And then the 10 of Swords upright. 10 of Swords upright is a card of betrayal, or it's a card of, you know, discomfort or feeling like backstabbed in a sense. So when I'm implying this, the 10 of Swords says, God, can you not? Because it's just wrong. It feels wrong, or it looks wrong. So I'm going to assume that fans take it too far. Though I'm not surprised, because a lot of fans do that in general, regardless of it being J-pop, K-pop, whatever. Shipping, people that ship take it way too far. Like, they like to project a lot. And I'm just like, dude, chill out with that. So it's the same thing for the both of them, but more Tsuyoshi is like uncomfortable more than Koichi. So something to be mindful of. It's too much. It could be too much. All right. So this last question is a prediction question. Payer wanted to know, how long will they last in this entertainment industry? Okay, so how much longer? Okay, how much longer will they last in this entertainment industry? So can anyone fill me in? How long have they been in the industry already? Actually, I should just look it up. Let's see. How long have they been in this industry? Since 1993. Whoa. That's impressive. That's impressive. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. That's a while. That's a while. All right. Moving on. Moving on. So how long will they last? How much longer will they last? Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow, that is some positive cards. Okay, that is some very good cards. So bottom of the deck is the Fool card. When you get the Fool card, this actually says new beginnings or a new slate. I'm gonna actually clarify. Why is the Fool here? Why is the Fool here? Interesting. So, okay. The Fool card with the Knight of Swords upright. So this is actually saying that the energy so far right now, they're trying to, I don't know, either make a comeback in a very different way. Pretty much whatever they're trying to do right now, whatever they're working on, they're tackling it a lot different than they normally do. So the Fool and the Knight of Swords says that right now they're not even thinking, like their energy is not even at a path of quitting. Sometimes they think about it, but they are, again, they're being very optimistic in this industry. But the Fool and the Knight of Swords says that overall they're trying their hardest to re-innovate themselves, to always put something different, to do something that's out of their norm, even though they are like very distinct, like they have their own image, they have their own reputation, their own sound. They try their best to always change it up a little bit. So the Fool and the Knight of Swords says they, in terms of how long they'll last in the industry, it all depends on how their work ethic is and what kind of stuff they put out. But they enjoy still being in this industry. As stressful as it is, as, you know, hectic it could be for the both of them, they thoroughly love this job. Like they love what they do. And I say this with the Three of Cups and with the Lovers card. Literally, they love what they do. They love being, you know, in this industry and what it offers and what they can offer. So for as long as it's good, for as long as the energy is thriving and making them still optimistic, that is as long as how they're going to take it. Now, if I'm going to actually be distinct time-wise, let me see. Time-wise, if I give you a time frame, do not hold on to that. Do not dwell on it. I always say this as a disclaimer, energy is always shifting. Universe is always working. And again, Koichi and Tsuyoshi still have their own free will of choice. So even if I say 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, it doesn't matter. It could change. So as of this current energy, they will last, let's see, they will both last in this entertainment industry for okay. As of this current energy, like I mentioned, it could change, but as of now, they could last another 2 years from today. Another 2 years from today, they will still be around. But again, if the energy shifts, it can be longer. Or if the energy shifts again, it could be sooner. Okay. But at most right now of how they're dealing with their spot in this field, 2 years. 2 more years. 2 more years. Okie dokes. All right, so I am done with the questions. Hey, Jen, I haven't been able to watch the previous readings live recently, so I just wanted to stop by and wish everyone a good morning, night, evening since I'm here. Thank you. I hope you've been well. I appreciate that. Thanks. You have been missed. Yeah, so anyways, that is the end of the questions. Yeah, I'm pretty much done. I just have to do predictions now, but I'm going to take a little break. I'm just going to have a water break because someone's throat chakra is not the all-time best. But that ends all the questions from myself and from the pair. Okay, so let's see. On that note, okay, I think we're good. We're going to do predictions. If you've reached this point of the reading, great. This is a lot of people's favorites. Yeah, so when I do predictions, I pretty much tap into their energies even deeper and kind of summon through spirit and summon through the universe what is potentially going to happen to the people I'm reading, in this case Tsuyoshi and Koichi. I'm going to see what could happen in the near future, or just in the future in general. So all right, let's do this. So I'm going to use this deck now. Yeah, okay. Prediction time. A disclaimer though, even though these are predictions, like I said all the time already, the universe is always working, energy is always shifting, and both Tsuyoshi and Koichi still have their own free will of choice. So even if I say this and this is going to happen, it's not set in stone. Okay, it's not set in stone. It's not confirmed. All right. Yeah, they're amnesia pills. Exactly. So yeah, if I say something in prediction wise, do not dwell onto these messages. It doesn't mean that it's definite. It's not set in stone. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Okay. And then if I say anything as a prediction, and you want it to happen for them, like you got excited and you want the prediction to happen for them, do not overthink it, do not dwell on it, do not talk about it too much. Just claim it, set it, and set the intention. Be like, okay, that's gonna happen, cool, and then just forget about it. Don't think about it. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna get started with the predictions. All right. Oops, that was amateur hour. Hold on. 1 second. That was a lot of cards that dropped. Yeesh. Alright, sorry, cards. Okay, let's do that again. So, my cards are the amnesia pills for real. Yeah, set it and forget it. Don't think about it. Just forget it. All right. Okay, so let's try that again. What can we look forward to in the near future for both Koichi and Tsuyoshi? Now, I don't know how interactive they are, obviously, with their fans. I'm going to assume that they are interactive, or as much as possible. But if not, again, just correct me if I'm wrong. But what I do see in the near future, there's this like kind of distinct looking, it looks like a yearbook of some sort. I'm going to assume maybe like, I don't know, it could be like some kind of anniversary of theirs. It's like the anniversary of their group debuting or whatever, but I don't know. It's like a yearbook, and it has all these compilations of memories of some sort, just everything through the years. And then towards like in that same concept, not only will you see like a yearbook, but you're going to see some type of, how do I say this, like another song, or maybe it's like a project that they're going to do, and it's going to express their gratitude towards fans. But it's interesting because it's not, how do I say this? How do I word it properly? It's nothing too grand. In a way, it's like, I guess it's not going to be promoted that long. In fact, it's just going to like come out of nowhere, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, let's do this for the fans just to celebrate or whatever, but it's not like the grand like gesture is not too grand, or it's not too like spectacular, if anything. Yeah, so again, expect some kind of yearbook concept. I don't know. And then there's also like this event that's going to happen. I think it's online though. Whatever this is, I see them with some sort of live stream, or if not a live stream, it's like on TV. If not on TV, it's like radio, whatever it is, there's something that's going to happen in real live time. Yeah, in live time, real time, excuse me, in real time. And then it's like an event that could kind of gather fans around. But it's interesting because this is all happening during a time of like an anniversary, just a specific date of some sort. When did they? I don't know. I don't know. This is the thing when it comes to non-biased readings for me. I need to do a lot of research. Let's see. Debut date. Debut date is 90. What? It doesn't tell me. When is her debut date? I'm just curious. Okay. Well, it says here the duo did not make their debut until July 20th. I don't know. Whatever the case is, whenever they debut or something, some kind of anniversary, there's a specific day that's important to them. And I saw them kind of hosting an event where fans can interact with them and such. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Okay. Actually, let me see. Let me see real quick. Jamshiman. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anything else we can predict for the two, please? Anything else we can predict for the two? Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune is back. Okay, this is a different deck, and yet... Okay. So, it looks to me you're going to get a new album. It's telling me it's been a while since their last album. Was it last year? Temperance card says it was last year, but I could be wrong. But the Wheel of Fortune says that in due time, you're gonna see a full-on comeback. It's gonna be like their biggest one yet. Yeah, or they're planning to at least. The Wheel of Fortune and the Temperance says they've been working really hard on some grand thing, and this is a separate from what I mentioned earlier just now about like the whole yearbook concept. But whatever it is, like comeback wise, it says here that they're planning on something very big, and you're gonna see it pretty soon. I'm gonna say next year as well. So anything else? Yeah, it's interesting because it looks to me that this is like the most, when they make this comeback or whatever, it's probably going to be like the most emotional one or the most sentimental one. I've never heard anything of their own stuff. I'm going to have to check out their stuff in a way after this, but I don't know their style of music. So regardless, when they make their comeback, this is going to be much more lighthearted, a little more sentimental, more emotional. So I think this is why it's a lot more important to them coming around, because this time there's a lot more emotion that's poured out into this new thing, into this new album. I say this with the Knight of Cups. Cups is water sign energy. Water is emotions. Talks a lot about when you're dealing with the Knight. The Knight is the card of action. It's the card of giving. It's a messenger card. It's about, expression as well. So expressing your emotions in a sense. So they're pouring that out in due time, through a comeback, through an album. I see an album. I kind of like in my head, I saw, how do I say this? Like a cover photo or like an art concept photo. It could be of an album. It could be something else. But regardless, there's something symbolic. They're going to use a lot of symbolism in this next concept or whatever. It's going to be very minimalist though. So I think what will be very interesting is that it's much more mature than most of the stuff they put out. I'm only talking from through the cards again. I don't know what exactly is their style, what kind of music they put out, but again, it's much more emotional. So, okay, thank you, cards. Next. Okay. Anything else to tell? Anything else you like to share with me? Okay, there is a slight vision that I saw. It's like seeing their handwriting. Interesting. So the Magician in the bottom of the deck, the Magician is a creative card and like a card about willpower. But it's interesting because I don't know if this is part of like their next comeback or whatever. But what I did see is like either the both of them or either one of them. I see a hand and it's writing a specific letter, or I don't know, I can't read Japanese or anything. I can't read, but it says, it's not saying, but it's just something aesthetic about it. It's very stimulating, like visually, and you're just seeing something satisfying being written from either one of them, or maybe it's the both of them, but it looks like a letter of some sort. And then it's kind of like, it looks like it's on a, how do I say this? What kind of paper is that? It looks like a scroll of some sort. Regardless, it looks very traditional. It's very, very cultural, very aesthetic, very satisfying, but very heartfelt as well. Okay, so something of that sort. Okay, now, is there anything else? Okay, so interesting. You're not only getting an album next year, but you're getting some kind of, what is this called? It's not just an album, but like the way they separate this album is, it's going to have like different versions, and like each version contains something else. Like it's not just music that they're going to give. So for example, you have like the main album, but if you get a different version of this album, there is a specific gift. And if you get a different version of this same album, there's another different gift. I don't know what that gift is, but it looks like there's some type of trinket that's in this album. It's very grand, which is cool. I've never seen anything like that, not even in K-pop, Yeah, interesting. This is actually probably like the most how do I say this, most expensive or most high quality an album could be from them, because I'm seeing, let's see, now I'm curious. Let's see. I'm very curious. Yeah, because for the most part, it looks like their albums has always looked simple, and it's always in the jewel case, like the typical CD case. But I think that's because it's Japan. But it looks like they're gonna step it up a notch, like quality wise. Like I could mistake it for a K-pop album. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. It looks like there's gonna be some production there. I think it's from Tsuyoshi. He is good in calligraphy. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, interesting. All right. Anything else? The union? What kind of reunion is that? Okay. Interesting. So you're gonna get some kind of surprise from, not just from them two, but like, okay, can someone clear this up for me, because I'm not sure. Is their group just the two of them, or have they always been, or have they had like other members before? Because I see one or two other people coming in from somewhere. I don't know, but it's like it feels like a reunion of some sort. I don't know who these other two are. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see some type of like reunion. It could be a surprise. It's like a guest. I don't know who they are, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the cards, but I see two people here. I don't know who they are, and they're coming in, and it's like a surprise, and I see like fans just being surprised and just freaking out a little bit in a good way. So something exciting there. Let me know. I could be wrong. Yeah, like total of 4. I see Tsuyoshi, I see Koichi, but I don't know who those other two guys are. Or two guys. Yeah. 9 of Cups means reunion, wishful thinking, wishful fulfillment. It's like they've been planning this for a while. My third eye is pulsating. Okay. Is that it? Okay. 4 of Swords. All right, that's telling me that's it. That's all I could come up with, because it looks to me that the 4 of Swords is sharing that they're working relentlessly hard, but there's going to be a lot coming in store in the future. Next year is going to be a very busy year for them. I think they've been, for the most part, they come and go like as of recent, but for the most part, they've been very, I guess the term is dormant. The 4 of Swords says they're pretty dormant, but they're waiting for the right moment to come back. Earlier, I did have that Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to say that next year will be a lot more eventful. So fans can expect more from them, actually. Yeah, I guess we're going to end that here. All right, so that is it. I am done with this reading. I hope this reading, resonated. I hope this reading was positive. I hope this reading gave you guys some clarity and answers. What I am going to do is pull some advice cards real quick. Is there anything that we need to share for them and to the fans? Aha. Okay. Ooh, see, a new start is coming. Literally a new start. This is a new moon. A new start is coming. And then we also have the your dreams need a practical plan. So this, like I said, the dream, like they're working really hard. Okay. They're working really hard, and by this card saying your dreams need a practical plan, whatever they're working on, it's been something that they've been wanting to happen, and they've been working really hard on it. So it's going to come in full circle. The answers you need are coming. So if whatever, whether it's for them, whether it's for the fans, if you have been waiting on something in terms of these two, they're coming. So this one's the important one though. Okay. A new start is coming. So yeah. The only two people, but they have a show called LLA, and one of them is their teacher in music. I think it's reunion with them. Okay. Well, regardless, yeah, that's pretty much what I got. So yeah, again, I hope this reading finds you guys well. I am gonna get going, but I do want to thank the amount of people that have tuned in. This is a very, it's definitely a non-biased reading. It was really interesting for me to tap into people that or into artists that I'm not familiar with. It was really insightful for me. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to the pair of this reading. I truly appreciate it. So thank you for allowing me to read them. Thank you for your interest, your trust, your curiosity, and the spiritual consent as well. So thank you guys so much. For those that are here just to chill out and to listen to me babble, and if you found this reading insightful just through tarot alone, thank you. I do appreciate it. So yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you as well. Thanks for the great work as always, Jen. Now go rest, Queen. You deserve it. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's actually still early for me, so I will leave the stream, but I will be working on some other things. I actually am uploading videos right now on Patreon, so but yeah, thank you very much again for hanging out, for letting me do this reading. If you want a personal reading with me, I do offer that service, one-on-one session. You guys can check my website out. It's in the description box below. So if you want me to give you a personal reading, if you need guidance, of assurance, any kind of clarity, if you have questions, personal life, whatever, I am here. I will, obviously give you a confidential one-on-one reading. It is a safe space. You guys can do that. Book a reading with me on my website in the description box below. If you want me to read anyone else, it does not have to be K-pop, does not have to be J-pop. It could literally be any other idol, actor, celebrity that you admire and want to get better insight of. You guys can also book me on that same website. All right, I'm going to get going. Join Jan's Patreon too. Yes, yeah, if you guys are interested in my Patreon's also in the description box below. I do readings there too. I have reactions to a lot of stuff. I'm also teaching and doing stuff in that and giving out tips and such. So yeah, if you're interested, check it out. All right, bye everyone. Thanks, guys. I'm going to get going. Enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening. Be safe, be well, make good choices. Bye, guys. Bye.